Here, I would like to look at solving this polynomial inequality, and here I will look at a problem where we start without a graph, but with an actual function. Look at the inequality that is given, and the first step that you want to do is get 0 on one side of that inequality. Here, it's going to be easiest for me to subtract the x term over and add the 7 over. So I'll do those two things in this one step, and I'll have x squared minus 7x minus 8 is greater than or equal to 0. Now, the reason that this is called a polynomial inequality is that the left-hand side of this inequality is considered polynomial in nature. In other words, it's just a sum or a difference of terms with whole number exponents. Now, from here, we want to use what we've learned from prior lessons. Here, if we have the greater than or equal to 0, the 0 represents the x-axis. And then being greater than or equal to 0 means that we're looking for where the graph is either on or above the x-axis. The on part comes from there being an actual bar underneath the inequality, and then the above part comes from the inequality being a greater than. Now, to be able to solve this particular problem, we need to graph. We're going to be able to use our graphing calculator on this type of problem. So the first thing you need to do is enter in the left-hand side of this inequality into y1. So enter y1 as x squared minus 7x minus 8. So I'll go and do this on my calculator. Now, once you have that done, you want to make sure to set an appropriate window. Notice here that my y-intercept would be -8. So first thing I'm going to do is try a standard window, and then I can try something different if it looks like that's not going to work. Okay, it looks like that window is not appropriate because I have the bottom part of my graph cut off. So let's go back to the window, and we know that we need to make the y values even smaller. So let's make this -20. Press enter, and then graph. Oh, and we just barely missed a little piece there, so let's go back to the window and let's set that, let's say at -25. Graph. And then from here, what I'd want you to do on a test or on your homework is sketch this graph. It looks like the graph is crossing the x-axis somewhere to the left of 0, dipping down, and then crossing again somewhere to the right. I need to specifically find this point and this point. I know that I can do that by finding zeros. The other thing I need to make sure to do is to label what I've set my window at. I did 10 to -25, and then 10 to -10. To find these places where my graph crosses the x-axis, I will go to second, trace, and then go down to 0, press enter. Let's say I want to find the 0 over here on the left. It's asking for a left bound, so I need to arrow over across that axis and a little bit to the left. Press enter, and then to the right, go across it, press enter, and then when I ask for a guess, just press enter again. That particular ordered pair is a nice point. It's -1, 0. Okay, now I need to go over and find this other 0. So do second, trace, 0. And then I need to arrow, in this case, to the right until I'm close to that intercept. Okay, it's asking for a left bound, so I'm going to stop just a little bit to the left, press enter, go across and to the right, press enter, and then when it asks for a guess, press enter again. That 0 is also a nice number, 8 and 0. Now, once you have these labeled, go back, and I'm going to minimize my calculator. Go back and see what the inequality was asking for. It's wanting to know where is my graph on or above the x-axis. So now what I'm going to do is just over in red, sketch where it's above. So I would be above, starting here, going all the way down. Here we're allowed to be on the axis, so I'm going to solid this point in. And then starting up here, it's on the axis and above in this region. And then when I give my answer needs to be an x interval. So I would start from negative infinity, going this way, go all the way up to my x value here of -1. Now in this case, that x value is actually a value on the axis, so I'm going to use a bracket to include it. And then union, starting here with this x value of 8, use a bracket to include it, and then going all the way to infinity to the right. And this answer would be what I need for my solution.